Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Pastatime with the Scaryish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And I don't think we did a sound. Did you do a sound check before we started?
No, I just started recording, in fact, so.
I'm Robin Grace. This is Adam Diaz. Did I already say that?
Yep.
We're
Hello.
here to read you folks some pastas, some creepy pastas, you could say.
Indeed, we are.
That's what pasta times are. What do we usually say?
You usually kick it to me and you stop rambling, so I can just take it over from here.
Okay.
So creepypastas are stories that you can find on the internet that are short story, fictional, horror-themed stories. Sometimes we go to creepypasta.com. Sometimes we just go on to like Reddit and see if people have stories that they've written or their favorite stories that they've found on the internet. Sometimes we check out the SCP Foundation, stuff like that. We are going to be reading 2 creepypastas this week. We did 3 last week. One of them was super long, and I think the episode was almost an hour. So I have a long one this week. So we're going to read 2. Mine's long. Robin's is shorter, but it's not super short. So that's what we're going to do. Before we dive into it, I think Robin had something happen. It's actually happened twice now.
Yeah.
That she was like, I have to talk about this on the show.
Well, I just think it's so funny. So thank you to everybody who has wished me good luck and good vibes for this school semester, because I need it. And it just started this week. So this week was the first week of school for the summer. And I'm dumb. So with all the new regulations with like social distancing, things like that, they are putting small groups of kids in much larger classrooms. So I'm in like not a studio. What is it called? When the classroom is just a giant room with all.
I know
the
you're
seats.
talking. It's like stadium seating, but
Yeah.
I don't know what they exactly call it. Like a theater, maybe?
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge room with just kids spread out everywhere. So you're really far away from the board, right? The board where the person's writing everything on. And half the time, this person's writing with a very illegible pen, like an orange pen on a whiteboard. You can't see anything. I'm an idiot.
Auditorium,
that's the word. Okay. So I have prescription sunglasses. That's what I use to drive all the time.
She also has many prescription glasses, just regular glasses, but she just never has them with her.
I don't carry them with me unless we're traveling. If we're traveling, like when we go to California, I remember my glasses, my actual glasses. This week, school started, and instead of me bringing my regular glasses, I just have my sunglasses, which are pretty fucking sick. I think they're cool. They're some for souls, but they look like kind of like Club Masters. They're like the per soul version of Club Masters, sort of. They're bigger than those, but
they don't look like prescription glasses.
They don't look like
they look like
sunglasses.
sunglasses.
So I can't see anything in class. So half the time I'm pulling my sunglasses from the top of my head down so I can read. So I have fucking sunglasses on in the middle of class. Today, I noticed my teacher staring at me.
Because she just has to be the fucking cool kid in class pulling down her shades to look badass.
So I'm just reading the board with my freaking sunglasses, and she's just staring at me. I'm like, I swear to God, I'm paying attention. But it happened earlier this week, too, on Sunday. Was it Sunday? I think it was Sunday.
It was Sunday.
We went to hang out with family and friends. And
we went to Area 15 out here in Las Vegas.
Which if you folks have not been to, I recommend the Omega Mart thing that's there. It's
super fucking cool.
Meow Wolf art installation stuff. And it was really cool, really fun. But we went to lunch afterwards. And you can't tell that my sunglasses are eyeglasses. So we went to get food. And one of the menus was behind my sister and our friend Ralph, who's been on the show a couple times. And I can't read the menu behind them. So I have to pull my sunglasses down to read behind them.
Again, because she does not take her glasses anywhere.
The waiter's trying to take our order. I pull my sunglasses down to read. And Ralph just goes like, what the fuck is this? Jarvis all up in this? Are you reading the menu through your glasses? I'm like, oh my God.
Because she's like, hang on, let me check the menu. And then she just like lowers her glasses. And we're all like, what the fuck are you talking about?
So it was just very funny. Just a story and a little anecdote to remind everybody, if you wear glasses, bring your glasses.
It's probably good to have your corrective eyewear
yes.
if you need it, especially if you're going to need to read or see while you drive. So good.
That's my pasta time for the episode.
Good helpful
JKL.
hints. That's not a pasta time. That's straight up happened.
That's a straight up true story. Okay.
I would like to mention, however, she mentioned Omega Mart, which is an art installation inside Area 15, which is sort of like an art place. I don't know if it's an art place so much as it's just like a hipster mall almost. But it's out here in Las Vegas, and the Omega Mart thing is fucking awesome. We're absolutely going back. If I can figure out some way that we can have some sort of crossover with Scaryish and the Omega Mart, it would be amazing to do. It's like a parody of a grocery store, and we were walking through, and everything in there is a product you can actually buy. But they're never what they really appear to be. I don't have them next to me, but basically I bought like this bottle of pills that's supposed to like cure your mood, and they're actually highlighters. And all the stuff in there kind of looks like something that has a real world counterpart. And as we're walking through the grocery store and taking all this in, like, oh, this is really neat. There is one like freezer door, and it's in the middle of a bunch of real freezer doors that have a bunch of drinks in them. And I look in there, and there's a person behind the door. And I was like, oh, that's weird. Oh, you can probably walk in there. So I'm like, I'm going to go in. So I went in there, and in the back room is an office with all these letters and shit. And I'm like, I might as well read these. Like, I paid for a fucking ticket. And it has this like huge mystery that's unfolding as I'm going through them. And me and Ralph are finding all these clues. We had a really large group, and we all got separated because it is enormous. It is like the size of an actual Walmart once you actually get into the back of it.
It's bigger than a Walmart.
There's slides and shit everywhere. It's like 3 stories tall. It's a bunch of stuff that is there, and you're like, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to interact with this. Like the grocery store, you know, you have the red phones that employees can pick up and like make announcements. Those exist in the grocery store too, or in Omega Mart. And I realized like, well, this is an art installation, so I'm going to do it. So I picked it up, and I like called the number on the thing, and that 100% feeds into the storyline too. At one point, like the lights went out when we were getting ready to leave.
Oh, that was terrifying.
And the TVs came on. It was like crackling in the grocery store side of things, not the hidden side. And it was like anonymous style, like announcement, like this is what you're being poisoned with. There's so much to it that I'm like, I need to go back. It almost felt like a real life Fallout situation. I would definitely go back.
There's a bunch of there are like 3 different slides. One was like a 3-story slide. I felt like it was just huge.
I watched one kid totally bitch out of the slide. He sat down on it, and the employee's like, cross your legs, put your arms across your chest, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, I got this. Okay, I got this. Okay, I got this. I don't fucking got this. Okay, I got this. Oh my God, I don't think I got this. She's like, do you want to see your friend go first? And he's like, yeah. So he stood up. His friend went immediately. He sat back down, did this for like 2 more minutes, and finally was like, I can't do it. And like got up and walked away all dejected. I was like, oh, that poor kid.
I was scared when I went down that mid slide.
We went down the 2-story slide.
Yeah, I just went down the mid-level slide. And even when I put my feet in, I was like, oh, God. You know
I like skittered down it. I didn't have as good of a time going down the slide.
Oh, I did. My butt totally slid. And I was afraid because I was wearing shorts. So I was like, oh, my thighs are going to catch. It did not.
I need to go back. I need to bring a notebook with me. I need to keep track of all my clues and see what the hell is happening because it was just really fun, and I highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you're a Vegas local, and if you're visiting Vegas. It's something that's really near the Strip that you could go out and enjoy. It's a super fun time.
Yeah.
Also, the Van Gogh exhibit's going to be at Area 15
at Area 15 too. Yeah. But yeah, that was our life. Welcome.
Yeah. We don't give you guys as many updates on our life. Mainly, I think we stopped doing that because COVID hit, and it's like our life is sitting at our desks doing nothing. Now that the world's kind of opening back up and we're vaccinated and we're venturing back out there, we're like, well, let's just fucking talk about stuff we're doing again. Oh my God, we haven't done that so long. So hopefully no one's like, oh my God, get to the pasta time. So if you do feel like that though, here comes some fucking pasta for you. I believe Robin is going to be going first this episode, if I'm not mistaken.
Cool. Sorry, there's something in my teeth.
I'm pretty sure I swallowed a bug while talking just now. So
really, I thought a bug flying around.
Flew by, and then at one point I thought I felt something in the back of my throat.
Oh, remember when I was reading the
last
other
episode?
Day? Yeah, and I totally choked on something.
The difference is I just swallowed it like a champ, and you coughed and hacked like you were dying.
Yeah, because it hurts. You try. I don't know.
I just did.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like a champ.
Whatever. Okay, I'm gonna get into my first story here. My first story is called Doors. Now all I'm thinking about is that stupid Rick and Morty episode where it's like fake doors. I just sell fake doors.
Oh yeah. Also, if it sounds like there's traffic in the background, there is. It's because we basically have a fucking speedway behind our goddamn office that at 6:45 at night is just so active and it's so annoying. So I'll do my best in post to take those out. But yeah, pretty fucking annoying, and we apologize for that.
All right, so the story. Let's get into it. I gotta get into my creepypasta voice, right? Can't be too chipper. I'm having coffee, so I'm a little energetic, but I gotta get somber for the creepypasta.
You're way more than little energetic.
I gotta get creepy.
She almost collapsed the entire desk right before the show started. Like, she went to scooch in her chair and she just slams into the desk and everything shakes. So, all right, Zen moment. Go ahead, Robin. Take it from here.
The story begins. I was adopted. I never knew my real mother. Rather, I knew her at one time, but I left her side when I was too little to be able to remember, which is the story of the lives of all pets ever, puppies and cats, and probably birds, I don't know. I loved my adopted family, though. They were so kind to me. I ate well, I lived in a warm and comfortable house, and I got to stay up pretty late. Let me tell you about my family real fast. First, there's my mother. I never called her mom or anything like that. I just called her by her first name, Janice. She didn't mind at all, though. I called her that for so long, I don't think she even noticed. Anyhow, she was a very kind woman. I think that she is the one who Namekian.
Dragon Balls are associated with this one. Cool.
I think that she is the one who recommended my adoption in the first place. Sometimes I'd lay on my head against her in front of the television and she would tickle my back with her nails. She is one of those Hollywood mothers. Second, there's Dad. His real name was Richard, but he never really liked me much, so I began to refer to him as Dad in a desperate attempt to gain his affection. That's so sad.
That is.
It didn't work. I think that no matter what I called him, he would never love me as much as his own child. That's understandable, so I really didn't press the matter. The most notable attribute of Dad was his unmoving sternness. He was not afraid to pop his children when they did something wrong. Pop his children, I assume.
Strike them.
Yeah, strike them.
Just shaking everything.
I'll fucking shake you right now, motherfucker.
This is what I deal with, folks.
I found that out before I could use the restroom properly. He didn't hesitate to spank me. Well, I'm in line, and it's because of his methods. Lastly, there's my sister. Little Emily was really young when I was adopted, so we were about the same age, but she was slightly older. I like to think of her as my little sister, though. We got along better than any sibling could possibly get along. We would always stay up late together and just talk. Well, she did a lot of the talking. I mostly just listened because I loved her. It was a great setup that we had. We were short on bedrooms, so because I didn't want to sleep in the living room by myself when I was little, I had a pallet set up for me. Fuck. That was... I had a pallet set up for me next to her bed on the floor. This is where I have slept since. But it was cool with me because I enjoyed being with her and I'd always felt pretty protective of my little sis. Everything changed on a horrible Wednesday night. I was at home taking a nap when little Emily opened the front door. The sound of the door opening pulled me to a state of consciousness, and I walked from the room down the hall to the living room. That's when I first remembered it was Wednesday. I was never good at keeping track of what day it was. Actually, I'll just go ahead and say it. My sense of time was horrible, but nevertheless, I knew it was Wednesday because Emily had just come home from her church's youth group gathering. She walked in the front door and hugged me, and then was followed in by Dad and Janice. "You have a good nap?" Janice said teasingly as she ruffled my hair up. I just shook my head away and snorted in a manner that clearly expressed that I was teasing back with her. "Don't you snort at your mother like that," said my father gruffly with authority. He shut the door behind him and hung up his coat. I was clearly joking, I growled under my breath. He must not have heard me because I didn't feel him smack me. Emily then proceeded to our room and I followed. She started telling me about her day. You know, usual teenage girl stuff, but I listened so that she would feel better. After her summary, she suggested watching TV, and I obliged and jumped onto the couch as she was going for the remote. She rolled her eyes at my little brother-like immaturity and scooted me over and sat down. The TV turned on, and we watched it together until the sun went down. Emily was the kind of girl that, instead of watching cartoons and soap operas, would rather watch Discovery and Animal Planet and Natural Geographic? That's what the channel's called, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's National Geographic Channel, and there was a National
Geographic. This is Natural Geographic.
That's
I think
national.
they meant national.
Maybe it's a copyright thing. They can't put National Geographic. I'm kidding. It's a Pastatime. Oh. They give a shit.
I like those too, so I didn't mind. Actually, those were the only channels that could hold my attention. So it got late and Janice walked up behind the sofa. Emily, it's past your bedtime. Turn off the television and go to your room. You too, she pointed at me. Emily turned off the program we were watching grudgingly and stood up. She started down the hallway to our room. As I followed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. We went into our room and Emily turned off the light. Just as she did, I caught a flash of movement out of the corner of my eye. It was out the window. But as soon as I redirected my line of sight to where the window was no longer in my peripheral vision, what it was that I thought I saw was gone. I still remained alert, for my sister's sake. I laid there in the darkness with nothing but the thin ray of light from the street lamp outside to illuminate the room. It wasn't much. Time and time again, I could have sworn that I heard subtle sounds just outside the window. A twig break, leaves crunching, clothes jostling, and all the while I could smell a faint stench of sweat and blood. I kept my eyes open most of the night. The sounds outside subsided and the smell left my nose. I began to feel at ease, and my eyelids closed.
That rhymed.
Not long after that, I heard a very loud crash on the other side of the house. I was up in an instant. There's someone in the house, I barked with extreme adrenaline coursing through me. Wake up! I shrilly pleaded with Emily. She did, and as soon as I saw her sit up, I ran to my parents' room. Dad was dead. His neck was splayed open and gaping as blood spilled out of it, off the bed and onto the floor. I saw that the master bedroom's door was closed, and just before it, on the outside, was a man. A man. I don't feel comfortable calling it that. He was very large and rugged. He turned around and saw me, and that's when I saw him accurately for the first time. I won't forget it. His eyes were large and beady and trapped with lust. He was styling a beard that was badly unkempt with blood dripping off of it. His clothes were dirty and his face was cold. Just then, I noticed the same horrid smell of sweat and blood from earlier, but this time it was overwhelming. He saw me and grinned with a set of crooked yellow teeth. The smile threw me off. I thought that I was going to die, but then he turned back to the bathroom door completely unperturbed by my presence. I was terrified and didn't know what to do. I just yelled and cried. I watched as he shouldered through the door that was Mom's only protection. I watched as he raised the large razor that he was carrying, but had obviously neglected to use properly. I watched as he sliced her open and tore her to shreds.
Jesus Christ.
I then heard something, the last thing that I wanted to hear. It was Emily's scream coming from behind me. The large monstrosity looked up from my butchered mother and stared at my little sister. I was distraught. He stood up and quickly started walking towards us. My sis turned and ran, and I was at a loss when he bypassed me and went straight after her. Why was she still in the house? Had she not assessed the situation and run? Apparently not, and now she was dead and I was alone. I ran after them both. I expected the man to kill her as he had the rest of my family, but I was sadly mistaken. He grabbed her by the arm and jerked her away to make clear that he was in control. He dragged her through the house. I was making all the noise I could now, hoping and praying that someone would come to my aid. He mustn't take her. Not her. As he passed me, I backed against the wall and whimpered the terror. Why? Whimpered with terror. Fuck. As he passed me, I backed against the wall and whimpered with terror. Why? He didn't respond except by putting his free hand on my head while Emily screamed in the other and saying, "Good boy." He gave another crooked grin and a very cold, unnatural laugh. I followed him to the door where he dragged my helpless sister after him. He opened it, pulled her out, and slammed it shut behind him. I'm now sitting in the house with my mutilated adopted parents, shivering and whimpering with dismay. He's out there with her, doing who knows what, and I can't do anything. I would if I could, but I can't. I'd chase after them in a heartbeat,
Heart meat.
I would chase after them in a heartbeat, but I can't. I sit here looking at the front door. I look down at my paws. If only I could open doors.
Wow.
He's a dog.
What a twist.
What a twist. And I hadn't actually read through the entire thing before. So when I mentioned like, you know, how animals get torn away from their parents, like right away, because they're too young to like tell, I didn't even think about it. But yeah, he's a dog.
Hearing it, I want to read through it again and see like how much of it changes based off the fact that he's a dog. Because it's like, is he actually watching his human family get murdered?
He says growl. He says bark.
Well, obviously,
he says
yeah.
a bunch of different stuff like that. But it's a real family.
So they're real humans.
Yeah, because like how we say that we're like our dogs are our kids, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's you know.
And he refers to his sister.
Yeah.
Is that another dog or is that a human child?
It's a human child.
Okay. Interesting.
That's why that guy was just like, good boy, like you just stay here. I'm gonna go take this kid.
I think our corgi would be the type of dog that would fly off the handle and attack this intruder.
Yeah.
I think our Sheebs would definitely be the one that got petted and said, good girl.
Yeah.
Like, she'd just watch and be like, oh, this is horrible. But I mean, all I can do is watch. So
yeah. Namaria would just be like, all right, cool. I'm going to run out the door as soon as you open it.
Yeah, as soon as you open the door, I'm leaving and finding a new family, which I've been waiting to do forever.
Yui would definitely try and tear like this person's arm.
Well, this was a really horrific story.
Yeah.
Told from the perspective of a dog. So good stuff. Good choice. Doors is a really weird name for it, but I guess it makes sense because of the twist at the end. So
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good pick, Robin.
Doggy doors, maybe. Name it that instead. I don't know.
That would just
but it would give away the thing. Okay.
It's a dog. That's what the fucking name of the story should be. Not really. I liked it. Good stuff. All right.
Hello, Ralph. Thanks for joining us.
We just talked about the fact that Robin talks to Jarvis with her sunglasses.
I am Iron Man.
So I'm going to make some slight adjustments to the screen really fast. So cool. Something that we definitely need to address is the fact that we have some redemptions.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to go over some other notifications and then the redemption. So first of all, thank you to McMaverick, spelled oddly, for following us 3 days ago. Shout out to Sherry Sue 76 who resubscribed with Prime Gaming.
Thank you so much.
They said, hey everyone, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Shout out to the Snark who resubscribed for the 28th month and said, woo! Shout out to A Meadows who just resubscribed for the 23rd month. We appreciate that. Shout out to Glitch, Laura Ann, I Am Beef Trainer, I Am Beef Trainer again, Chunkster, and Nefcore for all redeeming drinks. Despite the fact that we've showed that we are drinking Starbucks stuff right now, we do have booze.
Sponsor us, Starbucks. Okay. I went to Walgreens today and picked up some canned wines because
it's wine.
I had to pick up
in a can.
Yeah, I had to pick up an order, and this aisle just happened to be next to the place where you have to pick up your order, and there was a girl there that was also picking up canned wines, and I just asked her, I was like, are these good?
Do you have a problem?
And she's just like, oh yeah, I tried one the other day and it was really good, so I don't remember which one I did, but I'm gonna pick up this one and hope it's the same one, and they're actually really good. So I picked up a couple. You have white wine because you're a white wine bitch.
I have Pinot Grigio. I'll drink either. She just asked, which do you prefer? And I said white because that's the mood I'm in. Pinot Grigio, fresh and bright, Crafters Union. Cool. So I guess that's the one I'm going to take 6 drinks out of right now.
This one is Brilliance and Splendor.
Why?
But it's a rosé. Is yours carbonated? This one says that it's bubbles. I don't think that one has bubbles. Does it have bubbles?
No. I mean, honestly, it's not that bad as far as wines go.
Really?
I've had worse wine for sure. So that's one. Also, I'm not wearing makeup today. Decided I'd have a day where I didn't wear any makeup on my face. So Robin tends to rock it because she's beautiful and she can pull it off, whereas I'm hideous and I usually want to hide my imperfections. But so far today, the lighting is good enough where it's hiding
champagne.
it.
Here, try that.
We're switching them now?
I just want to taste yours.
All right. We both have 1 drink down. Here's 2.
It's not that bad.
I like mine better.
Yeah.
It's less strong.
I don't even know what the percentage is on these.
That's interesting. So I just want to shout out Laura Ann. They were the first person in either channel. Chunkster
11%.
has joined us. 11% is pretty solid.
Meh.
Chunkster is here. IMB Trainer Glitch, of course, is here. Also, happy early birthday to Glitch Grim.
Yes,
tomorrow
happy
is your
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Gemini.
Laura Ann, I already mentioned. Ginseng Joe, Cursed Wolf, I said. Vet Tech Cat, or Vet Chat, as I like to say, has joined us. Gonna keep scrolling. Vivian is over there on YouTube, says, hey, spooky friends, can't stay. I might pop by later. No promises, though. Thank you for joining us. You're probably not here anymore, but we appreciate it. Nefcore obviously is here because they redeemed a drink. Sherry Sue as well. We know that they're here. Keep on scrolling. Everyone's just talking about their day, how hot it is. Man, it is so fucking hot. Keep scrolling. Sherry Sue says, I took a brief nap after PT this morning. Would rather be at the beach, though. I hear you on that one.
Napping is good, though, too. I love a good nap.
Vet Tech Cat says, hot and humid in Texas right now.
It's definitely hot out here, but much cooler than earlier this week. Earlier this week, it was
like 111.
Fire, man. Oh, my God.
I heard it's supposed to be like 113 in a couple days, so we'll see how that holds out. MQI is also here.
Oh, also, people were saying that I'm probably grabbing a drink. I want to point out,
first time that's not the case.
I had drinks done.
Don't tell them what I was doing.
I had drinks done 5 minutes early. We were late because of Adam.
Yeah, I was the reason we were late. I'll tell you about it later. People are talking about cicadas. My cousin has had to abandon his home because his home and his backyard are so overrun with cicadas. It's fucking nuts. He is staying with his parents right now for I don't know how long, but they sent a video and it's just the most cicadas I've ever seen in my life. It's crazy. Ginseng Joe said it like 6:33. We're the king and queen of Scaryish. Yep, we were late. That's on me for once.
Yeah, all Adam, not me.
Dawn over there on YouTube says, hi guys. What up, Dawn? Thank you for joining us. Super excited to join live for the first time. I think it's funny because I'm glad you're here before we started reading, because sometimes people will join for the first time and forget that this is Pastatime, and they'll hear these horrific stories because they all have to do with murder or something like that.
And it's
they're like, oh shit, this is someone's real story? Nah, dog. No, it's not. So yeah, I'm going to keep scrolling. It is really hot in here. Chunkster says, LOL, relatable, Robin. Same here, but different
about
situation.
My glasses,
I
yeah.
think so.
It's just, it's my bag is very small. My purse is really small, especially when I'm going to school. I hate carrying a bunch of stuff. And my case for my eyeglasses is so big and it takes up so much space. It's just so annoying and I hate having to carry it around. So I'll usually get away with just wearing my sunglasses because even out here in Vegas at night, even with my sunglasses on, it's still very bright out. So it's not weird. I promise.
It's weird. It's always weird.
But I just always use my glasses everywhere. So it's my sunglasses everywhere.
MQI said it could be amphitheater also. Auditorium was the word that I was thinking of. Amphitheater also works.
Okay.
It's a lot of different words that we could use for those big like stadium seating lecture halls. IMB Trina says
we got to chug everything because it's like all redeemed at once.
IMB Trina says I'll be joining despite being up for 36 to 40 hours. God damn, 72. You're legally insane. I'm pretty sure. Got a true wildberry seltzer.
I just had one on Sunday. No, wait.
Samantha says, can I get a woo, Adam? Today is my mom's birthday. Well, first of all, happy birthday to your mother.
Happy birthday, Sam's mom.
And second of all, I will give you a woo. Let me move this further away. Woo!
I just want to stick my finger in your mouth.
I've already had a bug in my mouth. I don't need your finger in my mouth, too. Sherry Sue says, you're so funny, Robin. I always carry a collection of glasses. Glad to see that someone does. Snark says, Robin, that is hella me at the dispensary every single time. The menus and TV are polarized, so I legit can't read the menu. You are not alone. That's hilarious.
Oh, man. Sometimes, like when I go out with Liz, my sister, we'll go out and we'll go to places like Target and stuff like that. And sometimes I can't read stuff. And so I'll have my freaking glasses on, my sunglasses on in the middle of the store. I'm like, I look like an asshole right now, but this is how it's going to work.
It's true. She looks like an asshole without the glasses, too. Don't hit me.
You can't see me flipping them off, but I'm doing it.
Vet Tech Cat says, Robin is just cooler than everyone else. Scrolling. Everyone's asking IMB Trainer how they're still awake.
Yeah, that's a lot of hours awake. Like, what is the amount of time you can be awake for before your
72
brain?
hours.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, wait, before you start hallucinating?
Before you just lose your shit. I don't know.
I mean, 72 hours is when you're declared legally insane because your brain is no longer reliable.
All right.
52DZ says, howdy.
Aw, Sam says, I got her a keychain from Robin's Etsy shop a few days ago. Thank you so much for your support.
52DZ says, I joined right when Adam said it was enormous. It's no big deal. I was just talking about a penis.
Sherry Sue says, I have an eye doctor appointment on Monday. Brother was just diagnosed with glaucoma. It runs in our family. It's always good to get your eyes checked.
Yeah.
Even if you folks are really young and feel like you don't need to, I think it's really important to go and get your eyes checked because you never know.
The Snark says, you heard it here, folks. Adam swallows like a champ.
He does.
Abso-fruitly.
It's a bad boy.
I said abso-fruitly because it's something that Steve Jobs says in the Steve Jobs movie, which I watch a lot. And then I realized me swallowing has different implications. We're going to move on. I'm going to keep scrolling. I'm Trent says, pretty sure I have insomnia,
Everyone's
so I don't
already
usually
heard your
sleep more
story
than 4
about
hours.
trying to hit on Barry, okay?
Barry was a very charming young man, so. Ginseng Joe says, got to take more care of your body in regards to not getting a lot of sleep. MQI said, I saw this come across when Robin was reading to the Snark. So crazy to see your handle. I am still way back in 2019, and I swear you're mentioned all the time, which is hilarious. Sherry Sue says, yay, stories. Laura Ann said, sad, right when we got to the part where they were saying that the dad never loved them as much as their own kid. Laura says, for once, Laura in YouTube says, for once I'm not working when you all are live. Shit, yeah. We're happy to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Nessa over in YouTube says, I finally made it for the live. Hooray. We're glad you're here. I'll keep scrolling. Lots of folks commenting on the inability to sleep, which can be very rough.
I have to sleep, man. And sometimes I know I should be able to run off of like 6 hours of sleep, but that is not something I like to do.
Yeah, I used to be able to run off like 4 hours of sleep, and now I try and get close to 8. If I can, I don't always. I barely actually ever do. Beasnert says, Robin is like, are we best friends now?
Wait, for what? Wait, what? Why?
I'm guessing when it comes to the shades coming down.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone else associating. Laura says, I am also a white wine bitch. Cheers to you. I still have 2 drinks left to go.
Whew.
Hailstorm says, how are you guys? Doing pretty well?
We're good, you know.
Pretty caught up at work right now. I'm feeling really good about that.
Melting in the sun, but you know.
Considering requesting some time off in the near future because I have barely taken any, and I'm like at the point where I feel confident someone can step in on my stuff, and as long as nothing breaks, they'll be good.
That Tech Cat says, taking a poop. Solid.
Laura Ann says, Adam, I couldn't even tell that you're not wearing makeup.
Nice. Carrie says, hi from Australia. Hello from the U.S.
We have so many friends. So
Cream
many
Lord
friends from Australia.
Cream Lord says, do you think cicadas listen to Miles Davis? Who's Miles Davis?
Miles Davis is a jazz musician.
Oh my god, Beastner says cicadas spit at you as a defense. It's not fun. That is fucking gross.
I didn't know that. That is super gross.
Sherry Sue says it was 89 today, but I didn't think it was good enough to use my inflatable pool.
I'm watching her says, aren't cicadas technically... Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't done, were you?
No. Says happy birthday to Glitch and that their birthday is July 13th.
Nice. Super close.
Coming up.
I'm watching her says, aren't cicadas technically edible? They are, and they will trigger shellfish allergies, so don't eat them if you have a shellfish allergy.
The Snark says, I've driven home at night with my sunglasses. Fuck yeah, I'm not alone. Out here in Vegas, especially when the sun doesn't go down till way later, I don't think it's weird. It's normal to drive
She tells
home.
herself that every time she has to put on her sunglasses because she didn't bring her regular glasses. Hailstorm says, I had a job interview today and it went so well they gave me a second interview instantly, so I had 2 interviews today.
Woo woo.
But on the downside, I almost got shot.
Wait, what the fuck?
That seems a little bit crazy to be associated with job interviews.
I have whiplash.
Samantha, right? That is whiplash. Smith says she's super excited about it, Robin. She says we can't start the weekend until she hears an episode
that's
of Scaryish.
so nice. That makes me very happy. Thank you so much.
Samantha says she loves the jokes in the Aurora Borealis episode.
I remember making jokes about I was gonna say Aurora Borealis, like David Boreanaz, but it was something else. It was like Aurora Borealis, like Sarah Bareilles. That's my sister. One of my sister's favorite singers is Sarah Bareilles. I'm pretty sure that's her name. And so I kept like saying it's Aurora Borealis.
I'll have to listen to that episode again. Yeah. She has a lot of gems. Sherry Sue says, you guys need an updated movie recommendation list. I've been looking for things to watch on TV. We'll toss that up there when we update the website. It is pretty out of date right now.
Oh, and we just watched one the other day. At least I think I watched one the other day that I didn't think was that bad. We watched another scary story. We watched The Woman in the Window. That one was pretty good, actually.
We did. It was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't terrible.
It wasn't terrible, no.
And Watching Her says, my dirty joke of the week is being modded.
Oh, wow. That means it's not good.
Yeah, maybe you should change it up a bit. Snark says to MQI, hi, I'm a longtime fan, friend, and one-time employee-ish with Adam. Indeed, we shared Tesla nightmares together.
Yes. Laura over on YouTube says, my birthday's tomorrow. Yeehaw.
Happy birthday early.
Yeehaw.
Laura, you share a birthday with Glitchgram, which is pretty awesome. He would probably also say yeehaw. All right, I'm going to read this one
because he's from Texas? That's fucked up.
Why is that fucked up?
I don't know. Not everyone in Texas is a cowboy.
Glitch, say yeehaw in the chat if you agree with me. Hailstorm says, okay, story time. This happened in a Fred Meyer's parking lot because I had an hour of downtime in between my interviews. So I went to go get food, and my grandma went with me because I was too nervous to drive. So basically, we went and grabbed our food, and as we were walking back to her car, there was these people yelling at each other. There was a guy and a girl, and we ignored... It says there was a guy and a girl. I'm hoping that's not the case, but there was a guy and a girl, and we ignored them. We got into a car, and we're about to drive, and we're about to reverse, but they got behind her car and started yelling, so my grandma started honking.
God.
We gotta wait for the rest. Samantha said, yes, I'm hoping those to the woo. I literally think Scaryish makes her day. She loves both y'all so much. Thank you so much. Bob says, IR Cowboy, yeehaw. Bob is also in Texas.
Oh, story continues.
But they wouldn't move, so my grandma started slowly reversing, and she pushed the guy away, and he yelled, have a gun, I'm not afraid to shoot you, and then someone called 911, and he drove away. Wow. At least there wasn't actual shots fired. Yeah. It was just an empty threat, but yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy.
That is crazy.
It always makes you think when you hear stuff like that, try to avoid people at all costs, because people are the worst.
Yep, and now it's time for commercials.
Wow. I have whiplash now. But yes, we're going to move to commercials now. We're going to run a 1-minute ad break. If you're over there on Twitch, other spots like Facebook and YouTube will not get that. So hang out with us for 60 seconds. We will be right back.
Tiny Dancer Nation says, I too, cowboy. Howdy, y'all.
Why'd you read that when we went into commercial
I'm
break?
Pretty sure they can still hear us.
They can't. They see the commercial. Unless they're sub. In which case, they probably won't get it.
Yes. Because we've been told before that during our 1-minute commercial breaks, we're real boring. And it's true. Because I think for our 1-minute commercial break, what we really do
the worst part was that at that time, we were saying a bunch of stuff during that commercial break.
I don't fucking remember, man. It's so long ago. All I know is we got 6 drinks redeemed all at once, and I feel like I need to
I have one left, so...
I don't even remember.
Samantha says, best woo ever, 100 out of 100. Thank you, Adam. No problem. And one more time, happy birthday to your mom.
Yes, happy birthday.
It's really nice to know that people out there actually like our shit. So I didn't swallow it. They were nowhere near it. It's by your microphone.
Is it really?
On the other side.
Can I poke it?
Do whatever you want. You're a grown-ass woman. Probably should have moved your drink before you did that, but whatever.
Oh, it's right there. It's dead now.
Cool. Circle of life. All right, I think we have returned from the commercial break, which is nice to see.
I spiked the sound. Sorry.
So, yeah, that totally show up on the microphones. It's all right. It was during a part that's going to get edited out anyways.
Sweet.
The sun is in the perfect position now as it sets, where the angle and the alignment of the mountains, it just hits my fucking face. So I have to close those blinds at 3 o'clock. It's super annoying.
It is hot.
And it shines through and warms up this room. It's pretty brutal, I'm not going to lie. So
I want to take my jacket off.
Then do that. Sherry Sue says, why can't I redeem a drink if I have 1.6k points? Because we have a limit of 6 per episode. Because Robin can't move her arms without smacking something. Because people like to get us way too drunk at the beginning of an episode.
Well, I feel like I need to finish my can because
Hailstorm. Hailstorm says, yeah, I almost cried. Well, we're glad nothing bad happened. It was just very, very scary because things could definitely be worse, but we totally understand. I'm B-Train says, Adam and Robin, you guys are far from boring. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to scroll a little bit here. What's her says, okay, a milder joke. Dirty joke of the week. What do you get when you cross a screw? When you screw a textbook, excuse me, a D in math. That's not bad.
Depends on the textbook. You could get a D in English, too.
I thought it was a literal screw, too, so I was a little confused at first.
Or a D in literature.
Neff, of course, says, my birthday is this Friday, and I'll definitely cause some chaos.
You could get a D in Shakespeare.
Okay.
I mean, if you know what I mean. Lol. Okay. Anyway.
Have you thought about getting blackout curtains? We have them in most rooms, just not this one.
Not this one. It would require installing more curtain rods.
Yeah. We already got significant tint added to the windows that's supposed to actually keep out the heat. And it does a good job because it used to be unbearable in this room. But hey, it's still hot. Glitch says, Is Robin wear Robin my favorite color?
Is orange your favorite color or red?
It's a mix of both. It's pretty dark.
I don't know. It's like orangey red.
There you go. I'm wearing a Superman 64 t-shirt, which no one ever recognized the cover art, except for like one or two people at work that I really appreciate. So, all right. We're only going to read one more of these because this next one is going to be very, very long. All right. It's going to scroll to the tippy top. I need to check out something really fast. You okay over there?
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't finished my coffee yet, so. Tired.
All right.
Also, I look ripped. JK, lol.
You look great. Ripped. You always look great. So, gonna mark this. I kind of need to pee. I've been debating if I want to go.
Why don't you go pee?
No, I'm not going to.
Don't go pee first.
I don't need to pee that bad. If I walk away, and it's gonna be like a little bit. So I'm just gonna save it up, pee at the end of the thing. So,
but
all right.
It's 19 pages.
Double spaced. It's 9 pages. I wish you would listen to the things I tell you not to mention. There's a cover page that's blank on the front, which counts as no pages at all.
First
no,
instead of in the
stop telling me.
story.
I shouldn't have said anything because now you're just gonna pressure me into doing something I don't want to do. Peer pressure. No.
Also, everyone, happy Pride Month. I don't know if we said it earlier this month, but
we should say it every episode during Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month. If you folks did not know, my gravestone pins actually are ace and trans colors.
There you go.
So if you like pride pins type thing, I try to do it very subtly.
What is ace?
Asexual.
Okay. Every time I hear ace, I've been trained to hear all you can eat because it's like spelled like that.
What the fuck? Okay.
And I know that's not right, so I wanted to ask. So thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm not gonna go pee until after this. So
everyone's saying go pee.
I see that, and I'm ignoring it. Gonna mark it.
Wow.
We're gonna move on.
You know, if you hold in your pee, you could get
kidney stones.
Not just kidney stones, but erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, I know. I'm the one that tells you that because I'm quoting Liar Liar because that's what he says, and it has to be true. So, all right. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this next one. So, everyone strap on. It's long.
19 pages.
So, I'm going to move into our next and final Pastatime of this Pastatime, creepypasta of this Pastatime. And this one's title is Knock on Wood. Sounds
hot.
Starts out like this. Rain began to fall from a rapidly darkening sky, spattering the dense forest and the tiny one-room cabin Timothy stared out of. The hours of the day were waning as the storm rolled in. Tim wishing there was more time to be searching, while Joe sat wondering how the hell he had wound up in the middle of nowhere. The Jefferson Memorial Forest just outside of Louisville, Kentucky, to be more precise. The rain's rhythmic tapping on the wood above soothed Tim initially, but with the retreating sun, the sound had become eerily similar to footsteps. The storm moving in was massive, making Tim and Joe all the more grateful for stumbling onto this rundown cabin deep in the forest. Sorry. Messed that up. I gotta scroll back to the top now, because my marking doesn't work. Deep in the forest. Tim took his eyes off the window, glancing in Joseph's direction, who sat a mere 8 feet away, his back pressed up against the opposite wall as his fingers deftly moved through a leather-bound journal. Jesus, Joseph said, your brother really did his homework. The journal was simultaneously the source of Timothy's relief and fear. Its presence here reminded him that his decision to come looking for his brother had been the right one. Chris, despite being the oldest, was the free spirit of the family, and it often fell to Tim to be the responsible one, in particular when it came to cleaning up Chris's messes. Chris was prone to taking sabbaticals in the woods, but none had ever lasted this long. Chris's boss had called Tim a few days ago, worried when Chris hadn't shown up for work following his vacation. No one had heard from Chris since he set out into the forest, and no sign of him remained with the singular exception of this journal. The journal's contents, however, continued to set Tim on edge, even as his mind attempted to focus on anything else. Listen to this, Joe said as he read. According to your brother, quote, an agitar is an evil woodland spirit that spreads pestilence and disease, making ill any who look upon its face. It is often depicted as a snake-like creature, and although originally found in Finnish mythology, has been depicted throughout the world in similar illustrations from numerous cultures.
All right.
Most cultures around the world have always depicted evil as a snake or a half-snake, Tim replied, reciting words Chris had once spoken to him. Chris always had to become an expert on anything that interested him, he continued. Far too often, an argument with Chris left his opponent feeling like an uninformed fool. Compared to most, Tim often found himself as the one who looked like a genius. This would be a point of pride for most folks, but his older brother Christopher was on a separate level entirely. As kids, they were both recognized as gifted, but Chris's ambition and focus meant the comparison didn't last long, as his genius began to outpace his brother rapidly. That growing intelligence had left Tim behind, always following in his brother's footsteps for better or worse. He felt lucky in one major aspect. Being at the head of the pack everywhere you went carried with it a curse: isolation. Even as a kid, Chris wound up alone socially the vast majority of the time. Childhood friends stopped coming by when there were no longer shared interests, and even Tim had to put forth an effort to find interest to share with his own brother. Now, as adults, Tim knew he was all Chris had. Chris had allowed himself to believe that Timothy's friends were his as well, but nothing could be further from the truth. Joseph wasn't here for Chris, and Tim knew that. Joseph was a great friend, but not Chris's friend. Joseph was here because he didn't want Tim to do this alone. He loved and hated him for that, seemingly in equal measure. Tim's thoughts came up with him. Messed up. I don't know why it keeps fucking up my editing marks, but I keep losing my place because of it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tim's thoughts caught up with him, and he realized he was staring while Joseph had resumed speaking. "I'm just talking to myself over here," Joseph said, tossing the journal halfway to Tim. The notebook landed on the floor with a thud. I hope he didn't come out here looking for all this nonsense. He'd have to be completely nuts to think he'd actually find something out here. "He found this cabin," Tim reminded Joe. Their initial search had been tumultuous to say the least. Joseph insisted they turn back almost immediately, and Tim didn't exactly blame him. There was no way to know if Chris was even here. Tim assured him this was the likeliest place, but hid back the sad truth. This wasn't the first time Chris had disappeared into these woods. It wasn't the first time Tim had come to pull him back to society. The unspoken truth hung in the air, and an uncomfortable silence stretched out as Tim clenched his jaw, reluctant to say any more. Night settled in along with the storm, the darkness amplified by the clouds above. The two were already exhausted, and the pitch black of the night was chased off only by a camping lantern they had brought with. Joseph dimmed the light on the lamp before lying down on the uneven wood floor, falling asleep quickly after. Tim leaned against the wall, looking out the small window at the dense forest surrounding the cabin. He turned the lamp off, its dim light finally vanishing in the darkness, seeming absolute in his new night-blind state. Initially, his eyes could not make out the foliage, but after a few minutes of sitting in the dark, he began to pick out the silhouettes of trees, large and small, all swaying fiercely from left to right. Hedges and bushes leaned as far as their roots would allow, clinging to the ground for fear of being carried away by the wind. The illusions of footsteps from the drops of rain had vanished with the arrival of the storm. The noise was now vicious in the cabin as the storm battered the roof. It held true, not a single leak to be seen. He wondered how long that would last in these conditions. Despite the night's coolness, Tim licked the moisture from his upper lip. The taste of salt made his stomach ache, his eyes then finding the pack on the ground near Joe. He considered the amount of food that they had left only briefly before standing to retrieve a bit of jerky. He knuckled soreness in his lower back as he stood, regretting not bringing a sleeping bag. Thoughts of what would come in the morning danced in Tim's mind as he silently retrieved the food and returned to his spot against the wall. There was one truth he knew he would need to voice to Joseph in the morning, a truth he would not like to hear. Chris was out in these woods somewhere, and Tim had no intention of returning without him. Preparing mentally for a confrontation was a way of life for Tim. His brother had made sure every interaction felt like a duel for as long as he could remember. Lost in thought, he jerked back against the wall with a start when the darkness was interrupted. His head collided with the wood with a soft thud. A brilliant blue light illuminated the landscape outside the window.
Aliens.
Trees and bushes shone wonderfully in Tim's eyes, each branch and each leaf moving with those around them as if caught up in a dance to some wonderful music Tim could not hear. The light disappeared as quickly as it had appeared, leaving Tim's dark adjusted eyes squinting from its brilliance, the images still present when he blinked. Thunder exploded into the night, rattling the old logs that made up the skeleton of the tiny cabin, the fierceness of the noise causing Tim's shoulders to curl up as his head ducked down instinctively, the vibration rattling the walls, shooting into his back as chills crawled down his spine.
Everyone loves a good vibration.
I hate you so much. Every piece of foliage outside the window swayed frantically in a different direction from the thunderous boom that had torn through the air. The smaller trees looking like thin creatures trying to scatter to find shelter in the night, but instead found themselves stuck in place as they struggled desperately to get away. Each breath came more rapidly now, the sweat no longer confined to his upper lip as small beads beaded damn it! As small balls beaded down his cheeks.
No one likes small balls.
It was cold in here, but his body didn't act like it. This wasn't the sweat of heat. He was nervous. This did not surprise him. He was in an awful situation and Joseph was with him. A horrendous storm beat at their shelter, but still, his nerves seemed frayed for a reason he could not identify, almost in an instinctive way. By the time Tim had recovered and replaced himself against the wall, the sky lit up the tree line again, Tim's eyes squinting at the light as his body steeled itself for the next boom. Muscles stiffened, fists clenched, and Tim set his jaw with determination as his eyes fell upon something that froze him in a completely different way. Amidst the swaying foliage stood a silhouette, unmoving in the night's chaos.
Well, that's terrifying.
The surrounding forest heaved against the wind of the storm, thrashing violently from side to side. Tim's eyes would have missed the silhouette had it moved the way the rest of the forest did, but it stood perfectly still, undisturbed by the world around it, some unknown sentinel in the night. The thunder cracked out, foliage trying to uproot and run yet again, but the figure remained tranquil in the night's disarray. A cold breeze found passage through a crack in the wood, ruffling Tim's shirt as it rushed up his back. He lurched forward instinctively, feeling as though something's icy touch had tried to seize hold of him. The journal blew open from the draft, pages flapping about as the gust assailed the room. Tim put his hand over a small opening between logs, feeling where the draft had emerged as it began to subside. He quickly glanced back to the window, peering into the tree line to where the silhouette had stood. His eyes searched frantically for where the figure had been standing, finding nothing. His muscles tensed tightly, near cramping, arms and hands shaking rapidly. Whatever he had seen was gone now, if it had ever been there in the first place. You're losing it, he thought to himself. Keep it together. Someone has to. The words helped him find enough courage to stop shaking. He glanced towards Joe, who lay sleeping peacefully on the rough floor. The sight did little to soothe Tim. His eyes moved slowly away and stopped at the journal that lay open now on the floor, merely a foot away from Joe's back. The darkness did not permit Tim's eyes to tell what was on the page. As if in response to the thought, another flash of lightning lit the room, revealing a single word that was written larger and bolder than the rest atop the page. Agitar. Tim's eyes flashed back to the landscape just outside the window, searching again for the silhouette, or the remnants of whatever his rational mind reasoned it could have been. Nothing remained where the figure had stood but emptiness. The thrashing forest waved in unison again.
It just reminds me of Army of the Dead type stuff.
Army of the Dead?
Or not Army of the Dead, but the first one.
You mean Army of Darkness?
Not Army of... Yeah, Army of
I'm like,
Darkness.
there's only one, and it's not good.
Army of the Dead is not good. I'm at Army of Darkness, but the one before Army of Darkness.
Evil Dead?
Evil Dead. That's what it reminds me of. It's like this thing in the forest that's making it windy and blowing shit around, and you know what I mean?
A little bit. I can see that. All right, I'm going to keep going.
God, fucking Army of the Dead. God dang it.
It's like that Zack Snyder movie about Las Vegas?
No, that movie
and
is...
zombies?
Movie is not good. It's not good.
Tim sat and stared through the window, eyes unblinking even when the lightning came again. The storm gained intensity, and the lightning came regularly, forcing him to squint but never forcing his eyes closed. Exhaustion crept back into his bones as he sat still, and eventually his heavy eyelids fluttered on their own before closing. Images danced through the emptiness of his fitful sleep, popping to life to play themselves out briefly, before fading out or shifting to different images without notice. It was the dreams of a restless night, with one event rarely ending before shifting to something else, and that new piece of the dream always started nowhere near the beginning, or whatever event was taking place. Chris and Tim ran through the woods, moving as fast as their tiny legs could carry them, their cousins hot in pursuit. He had the limitless stamina dreams afforded you, close to what he had actually had as a child. The woods behind their grandparents' house flowed by rapidly as he ran, but he was suddenly stopped as Chris seized his arm and pulled him behind a tree. "Stay still," Chris's soft voice whispered. "The night will hide us."
What?
He was excited and scared all at once. Crunching leaves grew closer and closer as Tim instinctively clenched his eyes shut. The crunching stopped abruptly, and as Tim opened his eyes, his sight was filled with bright, white light. The light took in Chris, who was older now, who sat across from him in a room not much bigger than the cabin. Chris sat on a padded floor, his back against a padded wall. This image was as familiar as the day it actually took place, and played out to Tim even when awake on some days. The room was only 8 foot long and 8 foot wide. The only things that filled the padded cell were Chris and Tim and their parents, and Chris's constant ramblings. "You think you can live your life in peace, but they'll come for you," Chris said, words running out over one another as if he was afraid the passage may exit. Damn it. As if the passage to exit may close if they didn't rush out all at once. "They will," he continued. "They'll come for you." His eyes were wide, furious and fearful all at once, staring directly at Tim. Their father said something, commanding Chris to stop rambling, to stop being foolish, to act right. But those words came out like shouts from underwater, muffled the moment they were released. "When you least expect it," Chris warned, "they'll come for you." His eyes held a desperate pleading that Tim had never noticed when the image played out as a memory of his past. Eyes finally breaking free of Chris's intense gaze, Tim's head snapped to the right, and he slammed them shut, wishing away the scene. They opened to reveal Chris's... Damn it. They opened to reveal Chris sitting on his weathered brown corduroy chase lounge that currently occupied his forever messy apartment.
Sounds like an ugly ass chair.
Yeah, agree.
Okay.
This hadn't been long ago, but it felt like another lifetime. Tim sat on the hardwood floor of Chris's living room looking at his brother. "A Waldgeist," Chris corrected. "It's from European mythology. Hunters and woodsmen used to knock as hard as they could against the largest, oldest tree they could find to wake them. They were the protector spirits of the forest, and waking them would ensure no evil came to them." "Sounds like something a pagan would believe," Tim replied, looking back to his book. Chris looked up from the leather-bound journal in his hand, smiling. "People still believe this today. The only people I've ever seen do it are Christians. You do it all the time." Chris's smile made Tim feel stupid, as usual, the words a clue to puzzling out his meaning. A moment passed, and the window over Chris's shoulder revealed a raging storm outside, with lightning flashing brightly. Was that window always there? Tim thought to himself.
Well, that's creepy.
The room filled with bright purple-blue light that flashed just outside the window, forcing Tim's eyes shut with each streak. He opened them to find the room completely dark, thunder booming and shaking the wooden floor beneath him, suddenly made of lumpy old logs. Chris still sat in his chase lounge, eyes looking at him expectantly. Expectant and fearful, Tim realized. His mind raced, the words repeating around him, "You do it all the time," being spoken from his brother's unmoving lips. The dream was leaving him, pushing him out. He hadn't paid attention to the words when they were spoken to him in waking life, but here they seemed important beyond measure. Tim looked back at his brother, mouth opening to yell at him, to ask him what he was trying to tell him. The room was silent as his words poured out. Thunder boomed overhead again, and the ground rattled even more violently this time. A sound pierced through the silence, a loud thud coming from the door as it rattled from impact. A sound pierced through the silence, a loud thud coming from the door as it rattled from impact on its loose, rusted metal hinges. Again the sound came, louder this time, the door shaking from the weight of the blow, nearly coming free where it stood.
So this thunder or lightning storm or whatever is just coming closer to them, right?
Something's trying to get in the door.
Oh, all right.
Something's hitting the door. Tim looked back to his older brother, eyes desperate and afraid. Not afraid for himself, Tim realized. The door shook a third time, the violence sending splinters flying towards Tim, hands raising to protect his eyes on their own. The door barely protected the entrance to the room, sagging sideways on the one hinge that remained fastened in place. "Do it all the time," the words repeated in his ears, eyes growing wide with understanding. Tim's hand clenched into a fist, knocking hard on the floor, the wood thudding softly against his knuckles. The sound that came from it wasn't a thud, though. Instead, each rap rang out like a bell chime. He struck 3 times, each one harder than the last. Knock on wood, he thought, as he struck the floor. Relief covered Chris's face as a real smile replaced his mocking one. A smile Tim had not seen in so long, he didn't remember it existed until that moment. The window over Chris's shoulder revealed the sun breaking apart the clouds, the warm light shining into the room, washing over Tim. Chris's smile disappeared entirely, though, as his eyes gained a serious edge, seizing Tim's. "Don't let it in," Chris said.
That's creepy.
Voice barely audible as the dream blurred and faded into an impossibly white light that swallowed everything in sight. Tim's eyes closed as he shook his head, trying to clear the image. They opened as his head settled to reveal a dark room surrounding him. Floor and walls made of old, worn logs, light blinking into existence from the window to reveal Joe laying on the floor a few feet away from him, eyes closed as his chest rose and fell slowly while he slept.
So that whole thing was a dream sequence.
Correct.
Okay.
Joe, Tim said, voice gruff from sleep. Joe remained sprawled out on the floor, eyes still closed. Joe! Tim's shout came out filled with anger, harsher than he had intended, and Joe's eyes snapped open, wide with shock before narrowing as he rubbed them with the back of his hand. What? Go back to sleep, Joe snapped, laying his head back to the floor. How long have you been asleep, Tim said, raising to his feet and moving to the window. The trees all leaned severely, Tim wondering how much more they could bend without snapping like twigs. He noticed a dampness splashing in through the crack in the wall. The wind... He noticed a dampness splashing in through the crack in the wall the wind had come from earlier. The rain was now coming down sideways.
Ooh, so windy outside.
How long? Tim said, nudging Joe's legs. I don't know, Joe said, stumbling to his feet, anger painted across his face. I went to sleep as soon as I dimmed the light. His steps were staggered from fatigue, and his feet landed... God fucking damn it. His steps were staggered from fatigue, and his foot landed on the journal still on the ground. The journal slid, sending Joe's feet out from under him, arms reaching out to empty air as he collapsed into a heap against the rough wood floor. I don't need this shit, Joe shouted, hand reaching to the back of his head, revealing a dark color on his fingers. The darkness still held the room in its thrall, save for the flashes of light from the storm.
You mustn't read from the book.
What are you going to do? Just leave in the middle of the storm, Tim said, trying to force humor into his voice. But he had failed. Maybe I will, Joe shouted as he rose purposefully to his feet. Fatigue no longer staggered his steps. I'd have to be, I don't know, completely fucking crazy to go wandering in the woods on my own, right? The words cut Tim deep. He knew the frustration had been bubbling up when the storm had arrived and now was clearly about to boil over. But hey, that's why we're here, isn't it? To look for your fucking brother who just wandered out here or some other godforsaken place because he knew you'd come to bring him back. You know what? Tim replied. Maybe you should go out into the storm. It'll be better than me knocking you the fuck out. The two stared daggers at each other as the storm battered the cabin with wind and rain, lightning flashing frequently enough where the darkness was almost completely forgotten. Finally, Joe looked away and started walking towards the door. Tim stepped forward and reached out, grabbing his arm to stop him. Joe's free arm shoved him to the wall as soon as he came into range. Enjoy going at this alone. Joe's hand extended to the weathered brass knob as a memory of a warning entered Tim's mind through the haze of a forgotten dream, playing back at the last... God damn it. Playing back the last thing his brother had said. Don't let it in. He heard it play in his head in Chris's voice. No, don't, Tim shouted as Joe threw open the door. Tim leaned forward slowly to look out the door as Joe stood very suddenly still. They stood staring at a frozen landscape, trees standing upright, bushes unwavering, rain and wind gone like thieves in the night. The silence rang so loud Tim nearly covered his ears. Joe looked at Tim, brow furrowed in bewilderment. His eyes were wide with confusion and fear. The storm had vanished. Tim's dream rushed back into his memory as if breaking free from imprisonment, replaying all at once and ending on that final warning yet again. Close the door, Tim shouted, surging forward, moving as if stuck in mud. His hands gripped the side of the door, swinging it on its hinges so violently he feared it would wrench free of the wood. Moments before the door closed, an impact rocked the small cabin that knocked Tim and Joe off their feet and sailing through the air. Tim's eyes clenched shut as splinters assailed his face, some large, some small. Cracking wood filled his ears as he seemed to float through nothingness, reality catching up as he slammed into the wooden floor of the cabin, pain shooting through his chest as he landed. His eyes opened to reveal the back wall of the cabin leaning outwards as if shoved by some powerful invisible hand.
Whoa.
The roof was collapsing in as the wall slowly leaned further out, finally giving way to the impact. The roof came crashing down. Tim curled his body into the fetal position, arms coming up around his head as the logs from above fell around him, most separating from one another as they rapidly descended, but some falling in groups of 2 or 3. Many had splintered too. The few that struck Tim were as big as logs for a bonfire, but not the massive logs that made up the actual structure. They hurt when they made contact, but though they did not do any major damage that he could tell. The wood groaned and thudded against the remnants of the cabin as the back wall crashed to the forest floor. Tim's eyes slowly peeked open after a moment, revealing the still, serene forest above. The front wall had been shattered, the side walls separating, logs rolling into the cabin or out onto the forest floor. Tim quickly looked around the room and took in the sight of Joe sitting upright, struggling to free his legs from underneath a large log. Tim brushed debris off of his person and struggled to his feet, then made his way to Joe. "We have to get out of here," Tim said, hands frantically searching for a hold on the log across Joe's ankles. "Now." Tim interlocked his fingers under the log and was able to lift it high enough for Joe to struggle out. "Did we just get hit by lightning?" Joe said, words coming out in sharp breaths, mouth twisted to match a pain-racked face. Something had caught him in the collapse besides the log on his ankles. "That wasn't lightning," Tim said, gingerly touching Joe's ankles as his hands flinched back when a yelp escaped from Joe. "Something's broken," Joe said, hands extending towards his legs, shaking from pain. "Wait, how do you know it wasn't lightning?" "None of the wood is burned," Tim replied, eyes rapidly searching the darkness of the tree line. "I'm carrying you." The silence began to lift around them at those words, a soft whisper rising in Tim's ears. Joe held up his arms for shelter, expecting the rain to return, clearly convinced the droplets striking leaves were the source of the rising noise. Tim was upright, and much to his dismay could see the true source of the noise. The leaves on the ground rustled against one another, moving inwards from the tree line in serpentine patterns. The motion caused them to rub against one another, and the gaps as they shifted slightly revealed scales beneath the underbrush. The whisper continued to rise until it became a hiss as Tim reached out, seizing Joe's hands. He tried to pull him forward, but Joe would not budge. Tim took in Joe's eyes, wide with fear, face frozen, limbs so stiff that they trembled, and his gaze fixed over Tim's left shoulder at a space he knew should be empty. Tim's hands flashed to the cabin floor, seizing a large splinter of wood in each hand and struck them together 3 times with a sharp clack. The hissing rose to a feverish pitch at the sound, leaves rustling violently, serpentine pattern rapidly changing to rush back towards the tree line. Tim struck the splinters together twice more, eyes still fixed on Joe's. A hideous hiss erupted behind him like a geyser unleashing its pent-up stores into the air, twigs cracking on the forest floor, branches thrashing and snapping as they gave way. The sound hadn't driven off whatever it was, but it had made it draw back just far enough. Joe finally looked at Tim. "Keep hitting these together," Tim said, handing the sticks to Joe in his quavering hands.
It's like the fucking thing from Parent Trap, where the twins tell the evil, supposed, possible step lady, like, if you smack these 2 sticks together, you'll scare away the bobcats or the mountain
Just
lions.
like it. "Whatever you do," Tim said as he pulled Joe over his shoulders, "don't look at its face."
Ah, jeez.
Tim struggled to his feet. Fucking A. Glad we could break to have the Parent Trap comment. I was on a roll finally. Tim struggled to his feet, begging his adrenal glands for their support, moving as quickly as he could back into the wilderness. The forest floor was soaked and each step treacherous, mud holding to his feet, relinquishing them with each step reluctantly with a sucking sound. The clacking continued to ring out as Tim's feet moved in cadence with the noise. Leaves and branches scraped at his face like grasping fingers, his eyes squinting for protection while trying to find their way in the darkness. The trees swayed and branches broke all around him, which were the sounds of pursuit, growing closer as the clacking began to soften. Joe increased his fervor suddenly, causing Tim's head to attempt to glance at the cause. Darkness had made the terrain treacherous, but losing focus was Tim's undoing. The cadence of the splinters clacking was finally interrupted by the thud of Tim's toes striking hard against an oak tree's thick, twisted root, hidden by the darkness. His eyes went wide as he lurched forward, wind rushing past his face as the ground underneath rushed up to meet him as Joe came down on his back. The wind fled from Tim's lungs as Joe spilled from his back and shoulders from the momentum of the fall, grunting as he struck the ground and rolled down the slope ahead. Joe's panicked breaths came rapidly as his empty hands grasped desperately for the forest floor. A shadow then shot out of the trees ahead, smashing through the underbrush, snapping tree limbs off as it slithered through the darkened forest. Tim opened his mouth to shout and reached his hand out helplessly as the shadow came upon Joe. A horrendous scream pierced the night, Joe wailing in terror as the creature's all-too-human-looking arms enveloped him in a horrible embrace. Thin, razor-sharp claws dug into Joe's back as the creature lifted him effortlessly to its chest, making its way back into the surrounding darkness. Joe's screams continued on for a brief moment, once out of sight, and then came to an abrupt end. The sickening silence lasted only a moment before water rushed from the treetops downward, crashing down over Tim.
Well, that's just terrifying.
The storm was finally allowed entry into the night again. Tim lay frozen in the mud, eyes fixed in terror at where Joe once lay moments ago. Lightning flashed again, and the massive boom overhead snapped Tim out of his lethargy. He bolted to his feet and ran desperately into the night, heading in the direction he hoped would take him back to civilization. His legs moved faster than they ever had before, swiftly carrying him, rain and foliage stinging against his face as it struck. Roots snagged his feet, some breaking free, others causing him to stumble, but never fall. Each stumble saw him return upright and continue on, face throbbing, lungs burning. He ran into the night until his legs had no strength left, his abdomen splitting with pain from trying to pull in enough air. He pushed on despite his body reaching its limits. He had no idea how far he had run, he just knew it was not far enough. Finally, he collapsed, knees sinking into the mud as his hands came to rest on a large oak root. His head sagged to the ground as he gasped for air, trying to rise again to flee as the storm crashed down on him. His body would have none of it. His thighs screamed in agony when he tried to rise, his abdomen cramping so tight it hunched him over. He was so lost in his attempt to flee, he did not notice the rain stop again. The sounds of his gasping filled the deadly silent forest yet again, and just as he felt as though he had regained his wind, his breaths were suddenly accompanied by longer, deeper breaths being drawn in directly above him. Each exhale carried with it a long, raspy hiss that stung Tim's ears. Tears rolled down his face from clenched eyes. Body trembling from exhaustion as fear as the warmth of the Agitar's breath rolled over the back of his neck. The hissing grew closer, sharp nails sliding onto his back, stinging as they cut through his shirt at the slightest touch. His right hand made a fist, and he tapped his knuckles softly on the oak root. "Knock on wood," he whispered, voice quivering as it escaped him. A loud boom split the air, duller than thunder, but no less powerful. A savage, angry hiss accompanied the nails pulling from Tim's sides. A second boom rang out, followed by thrashing and violently splitting wood, splinters raining down on Tim's back. A third boom came, and its sound was alone as it echoed through the woods. Tim felt the rain return, the water stinging his back as it made contact where the claws had just been. He remained crouched, hands on the oak root, exhaustion, relief, and remorse sweeping over him all at once. Darkness drew him down for the second time this night, and despite his efforts to stay conscious, he collapsed. Tim's eyes opened to light that blinded him. Not like the dream from earlier, but sunlight from the morning freshly broken. No images had danced in his mind while he lay unconscious on the forest floor. Time had passed by as his body rested until finally feeling replenished enough to allow his eyes to flutter open. Above him stood the largest tree he had ever seen, deeply scored all over the trunk directly above where he lay. He ran his fingers over the wood, feeling the smooth cuts under his fingers. He craned his neck backwards, looking upwards toward the treetop to see the blue sky peeking out from behind the clouds. He drew relief in, along with breath, into his lungs, and realized He drew relief in along with breath into his lungs, and then realized slowly as he exhaled and began to tremble that Joe was gone. Chris was still missing. He couldn't explain it to anyone. He'd be the one in the padded cell this time. People had known Joe had come to the forest with him. He would be the one held accountable if Joe was missing. The relief had faded as his horrific choice set in. Would he lie about what happened to Joe? Or would he tell the truth and wind up in that padded cell himself? Where was his brother? He looked backwards towards where he had come in the night and realized slowly that the only way out was to go deeper in.
What?
To find his brother, to find his friend, or what remained of him. As relieved as he had been, he had a long road ahead of him. He hung his head, gritted his teeth, and took the first step back towards the cabin.
No.
The end.
No. Why would you walk?
Question mark?
Why would you walk back to the... Fuck that. No.
Okay, well, what would you do if you were in this exact situation at that moment?
Try to find my way out. Not go
What
back
would you do
towards
when
the
you got
cabin.
out and everyone's like, where's so-and-so? Where's Joe at?
I would be like, something was in the forest with us and it got Joe. We need to go back as a group and try and find them. Search party. Fucking get search and rescue. Get a fucking helicopter.
And when they eventually blame you for Joe's death or disappearance, you wind up in jail or in a padded cell.
It doesn't necessarily mean that. There's no evidence that you are the one that made him disappear.
So you just be committed, like, we're going to have this trial. I'm going to tell the truth, and even though everyone thinks I'm crazy, I'm going to go ahead and move forward.
But you're not
with it.
crazy. All you have to do is say something there got him. Some creature. It could be a bear. It could be a mountain lion. It could be something else. Not necessarily some big... You wouldn't say some big mystical creature. I don't know what it was.
Well, you just said you'd be like, something got him.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you just leave and be like, a bear got my friend. Can you help me find his body?
You just be like, some creature, some animal out there got him.
Yeah, but in that case, you're kind of being disingenuous and you're lying about it. Plus, your brother is still missing. Or in this case, your sibling.
You went out there with your friend to go find your brother, and he got caught by some creature. I wouldn't go back in there. I would go find help.
Okay.
That's me.
Well, this is rather unfinished. We can all agree on that. So there is an ending eventually for it. And just so y'all know, I wrote that one. That is something that I wrote in college.
No wonder it's just
over
so
10 years ago.
Long.
Robin has been so critical of everything I've ever written. I was like, I'm not even going to let her read this until I read it myself. And I edited the fuck out of it. And the reason we were late for the episode is because I was still trying to decide what I would do for the ending.
Yeah, that's what took so long.
Took an extra 3 minutes or one Robin coffee break.
Everyone immediately was like, "Oh, it's Robin." No,
that does just go to show that that's how frequently we're late, and how frequently it's because Robin is taking her sweet ass time. But yeah, I have an ending in mind. Beside that,
Samantha says they would nope the fuck out.
Yeah, I figured most people would nope the fuck out.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, "Nah, I'm good."
Including you. I will go back in.
No.
That's why it's written this way. Because like if my friend were gone and my brother were gone or just missing.
I noticed all the characters I named after your friends.
I wound up just randomly picking the names of the 3 people I had just hung out with. So it was Chris, Joe, and Tim.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with their dynamics in any way, shape, or form. It's just that Tim and Chris are actual brothers. So I was like, I guess I'll use those ones. So, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you didn't, don't at me. So
don't at me.
All right. Let's go over into stream chat, and see what you folks had to say.
A lot of people said they would not go back in. Vivian says, fuck that, fuck Joe, fuck Chris, fuck the cabin. Change your name and leave town.
That's pretty good.
The Snark says, team, go back in. No.
Fuck yeah, the Snark.
Everyone is like, fuck that. Oh, God, no. Aw, Ginseng Joe says, I'm very sad to say I didn't hear most of it. Lots of family here, but I'll check it out tomorrow. It'll be on YouTube.
It's on YouTube. No big deal. Hailstorm says, I would go back.
I'm What's for Dinner says, hashtag team fuck that.
The thing about me is that I couldn't leave and not tell people what happened.
Well, I think it's a little bit of your personal story, too, because didn't you have to go get your brother out of the fucking woods at some point?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I've sat in a padded cell with my brother, with my parents, and had that exact experience. So that actually, when I was reading through it again, I haven't looked at this in 10 years, I was like, that is the one part I'd probably take out. I was like, it shows that he's crazy, or people think he's crazy because he's in the padded cell. And the part of the ending that I had started to write for that was in regards to the fact that the brother left because he knew these things existed. And he decided he would rather go and explore a world that people pretend doesn't exist, because that's how people have viewed him his whole life since he became intelligent, was someone that they just pretend doesn't exist, which happens to so many people, that he chose to go live in a world that supposedly doesn't exist rather than hang out with human beings who are monsters.
Vivian says, I was actually thinking, doesn't Adam have a thing for creative writing while you were reading that? That's funny. You have the mouse. I'm going to scroll up here.
Yeah, you can snag that one. I have the other mouse out still.
The Snark says he put in the thing that Harry Potter says when he opens the Chamber of Secrets.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Everyone's saying that it's a snake. The Snark says it's a basilisk. Hailstorm says it's a naga. If you guys didn't know, nagas are like sea snake type people,
if you've seen Naga from World of Warcraft, where they have like the serpent body, but they have like the upper torso and the arms and then the snake-like head.
That's what I know Naga
That is what this creature is supposed to look like. Like almost exactly. Cool. Except that it's, I think in lore it's supposed to be fucking huge, and I made it smaller for the story.
Oh, cute. Okay. So I'm going to scroll back to, we were talking about pride.
This is where everyone was yelling at me to go pee.
Yeah, everyone said, you can go pee now.
I could. I just want to read I want to read some of I want to hear some of the feedback.
So there were some people that didn't know what ace was. Ace means asexual, means you have like a lack of sexual attraction towards
either or.
Yeah.
Except Chris Evans.
So Fuck, dude. Hot. Okay. I love Chris Evans. But I made that, color combo little ace shout out because I think, it's a shout out to my sister. A little nod to her. And if you folks did not know what that means. So now you know. And if you don't know, now you know.
For folks who don't recall what the stream goal is for June, it's another cooking stream.
Yeah, it's another cooking stream. During the story, I said no one likes small balls. And then someone was saying that having balls sucks sometimes because you sit on them. Have you ever sat on your own ball?
Oh, yeah.
On your own nut?
100.
Okay. You must have been really warm because I feel like...
If you just sit down, like sometimes you tuck your leg underneath your other leg, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just sit awkwardly, like you will sit on your nuts.
I think sometimes when you get really hot, your skin stretches a little bit more, and I think that's more likely for you to sit on them.
Well, I mean, yeah. But I mean, if you're wearing underwear or something that supports your nuts,
oh yeah,
that doesn't always happen. So,
one time I asked my friend, like, why do you ever get your like balls stuck to your leg, or like does it ever stick to you? And he's like, yeah. What do you think this pose is for?
Which friend are you talking to about their balls?
This was when I used to live in Hawaii, like long ass time ago. But he's like, this is what this pose is for, and he like spread his legs, like stomped and spread his legs so it'll like unstick.
It's also a side shift step that you take when you walk. Like you can be walking straight, and then you're like, you kind of step out, and that's to disconnect.
That's how I fix it if I have a wedgie.
Very similar step, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Scroll. I think that's it. You can go pee.
Cool. You didn't read like any of it. You just scrolled up past it. So scroll to the bottom.
Past what?
Past where we had started. Okay, let me take over. Question of the week from Vivian says, "What's the most daring thing you've ever done?"
Make this podcast.
I don't know. I don't know.
I've
done some pretty stupid shit in my day that could be called daring to some.
I think daring for me is something that is out of my comfort zone and something that I would never do myself, which is start this whole thing.
This podcast is pretty much in my comfort zone as far as like talking to the microphone,
putting myself out there on the internet, and having people
moving
see
out to the West Coast. Yeah.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
It's packing 3 bags, throwing them in my trunk, and deciding I'm going to make a life somewhere else with no one I've never met and just leaving. That was pretty daring. And I had my first ever kind of panic attack when I arrived in San Francisco and there was no more road to keep going. And I went to pump gas into my car and there was a different type of nozzle where you can't have like the fumes escape. So you have to line it up just perfectly.
And you have to like shove it in there.
And I couldn't get the pump to work. And in my head, like that was the trigger where I was like, this was a mistake. So, I sincerely thought like, what the fuck am I going to do now? Like, what am I going to do out here? Like, this was a huge mistake.
When I first started seeing Mystery Science Theater 3000 shirts, I was like, why does their shirt say mistake? What is mistake? Did they make a mistake? Like a mistake? I had no idea what that was. And it took me a while to figure it out. But I know now.
Awesome. Ginseng Joe says Betsy burgers for the cooking stream. I would love to do burgers for the cooking stream.
Oh, that would be fun. Yeah.
I don't make a solid burger, though. I don't make a burger that's going to knock anyone's socks off. But I'll be willing to like take a recipe and try some new shit out. 100%. Ginseng Joe says, I can't exactly decide my most daring thing was, but I can think of something recent. Share that. I went to see my close friend and her family for her graduation party, and there were probably 20 people there.
Aww.
I don't know any of them except 4 of them.
It's really, I think when you're out of your comfort zone and you're in a group of people that you don't know, but you're taking that step out to kind of put yourself out there, I think that's pretty brave.
Ow.
I'm going to go pee now.
Oh, you're going to go pee now?
Yeah.
This is what happens every fucking time I need to pee. She decides to cut the line. The most daring thing I've done recently is read a story that I wrote 11 years ago live on air. And it's going to be in the fucking episode that thousands upon thousands of people are going to listen to. And I will say this. I know I'm going to have people that I know that hear this story. They're like, hey, can I give you some notes? And I'm going to tell them absolutely not. If I wanted notes, I would have asked for them 11 years ago. So, whatever. Vivian says, my birthday was last Sunday and I got a weighted blanket. One of those reversible octopus plushies from TikTok. A bike and a cookbook written by Snoop Dogg. It's pretty awesome. Also, happy belated birthday. What's your says, Adam, that's called being in a relationship. The woman always goes first. Yeah, but it's like she just decides to go first. It's not like we both had to go and she's like, oh, can I go first? It's like, yeah, of course she would go first. It's the whole like you see your sibling playing with a toy and all of a sudden you want that toy. she hears I'm going to go to the bathroom, and she has to be in the fucking bathroom now. So Vivian says the cookbook is called From Crook to Cook. That's pretty good. Samantha says, I got my mom a rubber ducky float for the pool and some new belly button rings. That sounds pretty awesome. Everyone was like, it was gripping, it was amazing. Everyone's just being really nice, and I appreciate that. I don't think it's bad. I do think it needs a good ending. The middle was a little bit saggy, and I worked on this actually today. This is the first like creative writing I've done in a long time, but I worked on it today for about 3 hours. Because I was just like, all right, we're going to tighten all this shit up, because initially there was a bunch of stuff that didn't make sense and it kind of skipped around. But yeah, it'll get there. When it gets there, I'll get it published. So that is the plan. And I have a book I wrote in college that is 37 It's as long as Eye of the World, Snarked. If Snarked is listening to this, I know you are. It's the same word count and page count as Eye of the World that I need to go back and edit, and that is a staggeringly overwhelming task. But now I feel a little bit more up to it. So,
Did you already read the thing from Samantha?
Yes, I did.
This one?
I didn't read the top one. No, I read the ones that were further down.
Okay. Samantha
I'm gonna go to the
says-
bathroom now.
Okay. Samantha said, everyone at work forgot my mom's birthday, so y'all made it extra special. Thank you again. Have a great night. Thank you so much, Samantha, for supporting us.
Thank you to your mom.
And thank you to your
Happy
mom. Let's see. Did you read the one at the bottom too?
No.
And they also said, thank you, Adam. And you made her birthday very special. He gave a thumbs up. And so they said, thank you, Robin, for making Scaryish keychains. Thank you guys for buying them. I'm really glad you folks like them. I have another one going out to our patrons in a couple months. But I'm really excited for all the keychains this year. Ginseng says it's about oh, wait, what? I missed something. They said, I still haven't written my story for the pod, but I'm pretty excited for it. I'm really thinking about presenting it in a unique fashion, but we'll see. Cool. I'm very excited to see it. Vivian says it's 11 p.m., so I'm going to head to bed. Have a good night. Thank you for joining us for the stream. Lizzie B says, still banned on Facebook. That's hilarious. Samantha says, I hope to get the Ghost Explorer t-shirt soon. Thank you so much. That's actually a guest artist too. They are a tattoo artist that lovingly sent us that drawing for our merch and stuff like that. So I'm really thankful. I'll fuck, I don't know how to speak English, but I will post a link to their Instagram or something on our Insta soon. Let's see. I'm really glad you guys liked his story. It was really long, but obviously he put a lot of heart and a lot of work into it, and a lot of his personality and his personal experiences. I don't know how to set up marbles, but he's going to come in here, set up marbles. If you folks are new to the stream, marbles is something we finish out every stream with, and it's just an opportunity for you folks to win some Scaryish stickers. It's just a game. If you're on YouTube, head on over to twitch.tv/Scaryish Podcast. It's free to join. It's just this little race with marbles that we do, and we do 2 races each stream, and the winner of each race gets a Scaryish sticker. So yeah, the scripty says, where's the tattoo artist? I believe they are not in Vegas. They're actually, I think, like Kansas, something like that. Definitely not here, nowhere near here, but they're very sweet and kind to have sent that to us.
What tattoo artist are you
The person that made the Ghost Adventure design, the one that has the sheet ghost with the mountains behind it.
The one that's like darker.
Yeah, let me actually bring up their tattoo.
We sell blankets for it, right?
Yep, we sell blankets, hoodies, all that stuff.
That one's really awesome.
Oh
my lord. I really had to pee. I'm glad I went. Good call, everyone. All right, let's go ahead and get this scene switched over to marbles on stream. Go ahead and start the voting by typing exclamation point vote, and a space, then the number that corresponds with the track you would like to race. Thank you for joining us, Vivian. We appreciate you. It's 11 p.m. for you, which means you're East Coast time, so we understand if you need to get to bed. Samantha says, I don't need another blanket, but...
yeah, we have a lot of cute blankets. I really love them.
My phone just keeps trying to update Twitch today. It's like the 5th time it's done it. It's like, get over it.
Get over it. Fuck. I wish I could remember.
Remember,
Winnie, remember.
that's better. All right.
My God, we've been doing this podcast for fucking ever.
Almost 4 years.
Yo.
ZB says any number? Yeah, whatever number you want to pick. We usually just pick it based off of whatever silly name pops up. So right now, Temple of Steve is in the lead. Samantha says, Robin, do you have a Scaryish sticker pack on your Etsy shop?
I don't have a sticker pack, unfortunately. I have individual stickers. I think there are a few Scaryish ones that are on sale right now or clearance. I will check today because they should be on clearance. If they're not, I have to go in and edit it. So don't buy it today. Maybe buy it tomorrow. But they should be on clearance. Also, right now is free international shipping for the month of June. So if you purchase over $50, you get free international shipping. So you can't really go wrong there.
Right now, Temple of Steve is in the lead. Once it scrolls back to Temple of Steve, if it's still in the lead, that is the track we will be racing. Lizzie B 313 says, someone want to buy a toddler?
No.
Pass.
Thanks. Fucking no.
Lizzie B says, oh my God, joking. Please don't ban me. You will not be banned. Don't worry. Fuck me, dude.
Okay. I mean, what?
Yes. It is hot in here. I don't know if you guys get this, but sometimes I sleep on my arm like this. Like my pillow will be here. And then like my shoulder and the pillow kind of like make where my head rests. And if I like sink in too much and bend, like my shoulder will really hurt in the morning. It happens very few and far between, but when it does, my shoulder like aches for days. And I did it to my left arm. So like reaching out straight ahead like this is okay, but if I get to the wrong angle, like right there, I reached out to grab my can of wine, and just by picking it up, it was so painful.
I don't have their Instagram anymore.
Right, we are back to Temple of Steve. It takes on average 2 minutes and 26 seconds. The record time is 1 minute and 47. On average, it takes Spooky Friends 2 minutes and 36 seconds, and the record time is held by Woo Scaryish at 2:23. So let's jump in there and see if someone can break that record.
I think they deleted their Insta.
You think so?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people from way back in the day that have removed their accounts. So
type !play to get your marble on stream. Yeah, I noticed that we had some messages. That sounded so painful.
It was painful.
We had some messages. Just cover your mouth and like let the sneeze out. Let it fly. That I could not locate any longer. So I figured most of those folks either deleted it or it's just such an old account that it's just been deleted. Are you going to be joining the race?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Sorry. I got to open up my Twitch.
If you are watching, don't forget to type in !play to get your chance to win. Sherry Sue says, bless you, Robin.
Thank you.
Indeed. Bless you.
Ooh,
I tend
God,
to
no
forget
echoes.
to say bless you when the sneeze gets held in like that.
I was getting real tired there during your story. It felt like that
Thanks.
other day when we got back from California where I was like, oh God, no, keep your eyes open.
The Snark says, I cast bless. I just always find it funny.
Bless him. Which football player used to say that all the time? I forgot.
Jarvis Landry.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than saying bad things, he would say, bless him. I can't remember what I was going to say, but it's nice that I read the story finally and you're like, oh, I got so tired.
I don't know why. I just got
So
real tired.
boring.
It's not boring. It was just, I'm tired.
I'm definitely going to add in a scene where you get the full description of what the creature looked like, because reading through it, I didn't really want people... I wanted people to have an interpretation of it. It was a big-ass snake with, like, arms, you know?
Yeah.
But since it is sort of nebulous, I want to give it a little bit more of a description, plus some other edits and some other tweaks that I would make. So let's go down here and see who comes up first. Looks like Hailstorm is in the lead, but things can change on these tracks, especially any track with a funnel.
Oh, the Snark says, I went outside and flirted with a cute boy today. I'm super brave behind my mask. Adam straight up flirted with Barry, freaking licking his otter pop in front of his face like a...
I accidentally flirted. It happens sometimes.
You're way too good at it. Because then afterwards, too, he was like, what's your starter Pokemon?
Well, everyone was asking him questions, and it was getting super weird because it was like he was being interviewed by the three ladies at the table, and I was just kind of being quiet at that point because I'd already hit on him. And since everyone was asking him questions, I was like, who's your favorite starter Pokemon?
Poor guy.
I think he said Pikachu. I can't remember.
No. Did he say Pikachu because Pokemon Yellow?
Yeah. He said something about Pokemon Yellow, and when he said that, I was like, oh, we never would have made it, Barry. Because he said it was like, he was all about the original starters, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
And I was like, oof, woof. Pikachu's not an original starter.
Let's see.
Yellow wasn't an original game.
Says, obviously, it should be Squirtle.
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
The Snark said, let's thought it up.
That's funny. Right now, Hailstorm has regained the lead with Chunkster right behind and Tiny Dancer Nation in third.
Lizzie B says, girl, I'd be beating ass and taking names.
That Fanblade was very kind to Hailstorm, and I think that might put them so far in the lead that they will be insurmountable.
Man, what?
Unless they fall off.
What would be my... I think Charmander, dude. Charmander is pretty fucking sweet. Because once you get Charizard, you get like this badass fucking dragon. Hell yeah.
He is pretty cool.
Oh, I don't know if...
I forgot that you could fall into nothingness if you
I don't know.
enter the bowl too early.
Ooh.
I think you got it.
Oh.
You just made it. Yeah. Congratulations, Hailstorm, on your victory. Looks like Tiny Dancer Nation's trying to fall through to take second place. Chunkster is also there. Tiny Dancer Nation does get second. I take third.
No, my balls! No!
Scaryish. There goes Robin. There goes Cursed Wolf. There goes A Meadows. There goes Laura Ann. Chunkster finally makes it in.
Oh,
there goes the Snarked.
Charmander gets his ass beat in the first 2 gyms, though. That's true, because he's a fire Pokemon.
Sherry Sue.
Like,
there goes Ginseng Joe.
Misty's gym is the water gym, right? Yep. Cerulean City.
Hence her name, Misty.
Is it Cerulean City?
That's a good question.
Lizzie B says, how do I play when the match gets chosen and we're all starting to drop our balls in? You type ! Play.
That's it.
And
then the gravity takes over. Whatever marble you get assigned is up to its own devices. In this case, Hailstorms.
Meadows says, Cyndaquil is my favorite starter. Love Cyndaquil. Love Totodile too. That generation.
Totodile's adorable.
That generation of Pokemon.
There's no wrong answer really. I just always like to see how far back people's experience goes, and I didn't want to ask Barry how old he was.
Oh, he was a little baby. He was 25.
Someone eventually asked him, and I was like,
how old he was. He was 25. It's funny because Jen was like, "Oh, you're such a little baby. You're
Hailstorm
so young."
says, "Yay, like, gaze for the win."
You guys are like the same age.
Yeah, that part was funny. All right.
Me and Adam are like the old people because we're like, oh god. Okay.
Exclamation point vote, and then the number that corresponds to the track you would like to race.
Let's see.
I always pick because I had Pokemon Blue. My brother bought both of them. He bought Pokemon Blue and Red. He gave me Blue under the explicit condition that I start the game, I pick whatever starter he says, and when I got to the first town, I would trade it to him.
And then you restart.
And I did that until he had all 3 starters. And then he said, okay, do it twice more. And I did. And he said, whatever the one you pick on like the 6th start, it would be my official starter.
Yeah.
So I made sure that Squirtle was my dude, which sucked because that meant he leveled up slower because traded Pokemon get more XP.
Meadows said the first 2 gyms was Brock, which is the rock Pokemon, and then Misty. Brock is Pewter City, right? Pewter. Lizzie B says, my toddler's watching Ferdinand and saying I'm watching cows. But they are bulls. I actually think I have Ferdinand. Like, I own Ferdinand on my phone somewhere. Let's see. Meadows says Cyndaquil is also their fave. Tiny Dancer Nation says, I love all starters, but my dream starter to have IRL would have to be Mudkip.
Wow. So you like Mudkip?
I would still stick with Charmander, dude. Charizard's pretty freaking sweet. Charmeleon, ew.
Maya says, hello. What up, Maya? Thank you for joining us.
But once
Devil's
you get
Chaos
past...
is in first place. We'll let it scroll by one more time.
Okay. Once you get past Charmeleon, though, Charizard's sick as fuck.
Snark says, Caterpie and some love is how I got the first 2 games. It's hilarious. Curse Wolf says, I wish Cubone was a starter.
Cubone would be cute, too. You know, wearing the skull of your mother.
Such a fashion choice.
If I could have a random Pokemon as a starter, I would do Mimikyu. That would be my starter Pokemon choice.
I would do Snorlax.
Spirit animal. Snorlax can get hit so many times, you know? It's so powerful.
And Snorlax casts fucking Hyper Beam. That's pretty fucking sweet.
No, because Snorlax is a normal type, you can teach it just about anything.
Yeah. ASB Money
Except for
says,
fly, right? You can't
how
teach it
late
fly.
am I? LOL.
We're
Pretty
doing
late.
the second race for marbles. Maya says I might have to rewatch the stream.
It'll be up
Lizzie
very
B
soon.
says, "Can I just say I adore you guys? Thank you.
Aw,
I'm
thank you.
glad you haven't left, considering we're talking about Pokemon for so long."
All right.
The Snark says, "I want a dog."
All right. So, Devil's Chaos is our track. Takes 3 minutes and 23 seconds to complete for normal folks. World record is 1 minute and 54. For us, takes 3 minutes and 46 seconds to complete because we take our sweet ass time. Radio Man has the record time. Let's
Nice.
get in there and race it.
The Snark says, "I think I would get along with a Snorlax. We have so much in common."
Right? Exclamation point play
The
right
Snark-
now if you want to participate.
The Snark says, "I do not want to train a fire Pokemon. I would not either, in real life, because that thing would set everything on fire." I don't know what else it said. Everyone's just typing play now, so we're just gonna keep going.
All right.
But I fucking love Pokemon, dude.
We got 16 marbles. I think we had 16 last time. Let's try and get one more. There we go. We got 17. We got 18. Hell yeah.
Ginseng Joe says, "I haven't played Pokemon in years, but I recently started playing this online game and got a Shinx as my starter. It's very cute. Shinx is the cat type creature with the blue half body, dark black.
Lizzie B, type an exclamation point play if you would like to get in.
Right? Am I right with that?
I don't know. I'm trying to troubleshoot. You're typing in I play, not an exclamation point play. I is an upside down exclamation point.
Oh my F.
That seems to be the problem.
Yes.
Exclamation point play.
Exclamation point play.
You got 20 seconds.
ASB Bunny says, "Trading a water Pokemon would be like playing D&D with my sister's character who can dump 10 gallons of water."
Exclamation point play instead of
No!
And it started without you. Yeah, it's not I play, and it's you typed I play again. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's I don't know.
Is
call
it
it?
a
A
Spanish
keyboard thing?
exclamation point
That might be.
where it's the other way around?
I mean, you just got to type a regular one. That might be what it was. Scriptery has already fallen off the track. So I like this one. The Snark has also fallen off. But at the very end, it gets a little bit ambiguous, and it's really hard to tell just what in the hell is going on. Way down here, where all the tracks split and diverge. So let's watch from back here. Hailstorm has fallen off. Dinosaur and Laura Ann have both fallen off. It's a lot.
The Cursed Wolf says, "We still need
off.
to do dinner. This is rain checked nearly a year now." I agree.
I blame COVID, but 100% we should do it.
And your kids are probably adults now. It's freaking nuts.
Where do your kids work? It's been so long since we've seen them.
Yeah. The Snark says, "Boo, you whore."
That's funny. So ASB Bunny is currently in the lead. I am right behind, and I just passed. 5-2 DZ appears to be in third place.
Hailstorm says, "Can I give my prize to someone? Because we don't know who second place was, please choose a person of your choosing."
Lizzie B says, "I can't play on my phone. That's unfortunate."
Oh, that sucks.
I've never experienced that before, but I'm imagining it's just a keyboard error.
Yeah,
so.
it's probably just a keyboard error because it's just typing exclamation point and play. So I don't know if it's your keyboard when you're trying to press exclamation point, it's choosing the wrong exclamation point. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm What Your says, "I threw myself off in protest of Lizzie B not getting in. That's hilarious." The Cursed Wolf says they're in college now, which is hilarious.
They also say you guys haven't even met Asher yet, which is the newest baby.
I waved through the car window because we were exchanging money and graphics cards.
Lizzie B says it's not a Spanish exclamation point. That's really weird.
Well, try typing it now. Try typing exclamation point play, and we'll see if it comes through as I play again. I think ASB Bunny might have this one locked up because the track that takes you to this long spring is a piece of trash.
Aw, the Cursed Wolf says you'll love him. He is a chunky monkey.
Aw.
Oh, maybe that is. Tiny Dance Nation says maybe it's an autocorrect thing, and that's why it's acting up because with Apple devices.
That one worked.
Oh, that one worked. Okay, yeah, because I know Apple devices, they do, iDevices, right? iPad, stuff like that. So I can see why iPlay would change it that way. Do you want to do one more race?
I think we should.
Okay, we'll do one more race.
I think it's only fair.
So
you guys all sat through my fucking story. We can do one more race.
Yeah, we can do one more race. That way, Lizzie.
You know what? Since I'm not in first place anymore, we can just disqualify this race. ASB Bunny doesn't win anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and close it out. Just kidding. Congratulations, ASB Bunny. You have taken the victory. Let us know the sticker and all that sort of stuff.
Also, ASB Bunny, I did send you your sticker package yesterday.
I went right through the wickets on that fan
So you should
blade.
get it in like an effing month. Oh my god. Shipping to Australia takes forever.
Jinjing Joe comes in second. I come in third.
Send your stickers. Lizzie B says, wait now. Yes, after this race, we'll do one more race so that you can join.
Yes.
And participate.
I'll wait to start the counter until you're in. Sherry Sue gets 4th. 52DZ gets 5th.
Meadow says, plus I want to collect on all my old wins. Just let me know what you want.
Don't type it yet. We're going to start a new race.
Yeah, we're going to start a new race. So once we choose the map and then everyone starts doing ! Play, then you can type in ! Play. Meadows, if you want to message me which stuff you want me to bring, I'll just bring whatever you want me to bring to dinner when we go to dinner.
Hailstorm says they're going to give their award to Lizzie B.
Oh, cute.
It's very sweet of you.
That is very sweet of you. So, Lizzie B, if you want to email us, storytime@scaryish.com with which Scaryish sticker you would like, and then your mailing address so that we can mail it to you.
Cool. Congratulations, ASB Bunny. One more time. I wish I could mindlessly hang out with you guys. You know, like watch a movie and never actually say anything to each other. LOL. Those are the best hangouts.
We used to do that on stream during quarantine.
And then everyone stopped showing up.
Yeah,
so
everyone
we're like,
stopped
we're done.
showing up and
we're done with this.
Yeah.
All right, ! Vote for the track you want to race.
I vote. I don't even know. Is 50 a number? Is that one?
ASB Bunny says, I won something. It's because I had my lucky nephew. Congratulations.
Aw, cutie.
Thank you for joining us, lucky nephew. We appreciate you.
I don't even know.
You're just rambling now.
Yeah.
Looks like vote 52 is pretty popular, along with vote 50.
Lizzie B says, how do I email? From whatever email app you have, so Gmail or whatever, just email us at storytime@scaryish.com.
Storytime@scaryish.com. If you go to our website, which is scaryish.com,
there's a contact us page on there.
Click on contact us, it'll have that there too. So.
And let us know which Scaryish sticker that you want and what your mailing address, name and mailing address is.
To find the Scaryish stickers, you just type in !merch, which I will do right now. Then that link that comes up, click on that, go to Robin's Kawaii Corner, and then find the Scaryish stickers and let us know.
I was sure it says, I will continue to vote 2 until we race it. Oh my god. There's 2 votes on 2. Maybe we'll do it next week.
Bookshot is in the lead. That's number 52. I'm happy to see that.
Wow, that's a new one.
That's why I voted for it.
Oh, okay.
Curse Will says, do you have a Lesty?
What's Lesty?
I don't know.
My dad used to be a lefty.
My brother's a lefty, and my father is also a lefty.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It was really awkward for dinners and do I have an Etsy? Yes, we have an Etsy. So if you go to that link, the scaryish.com/scaryish stores link that's in there, you can go to the Etsy shop from there.
!merch will give you the link.
Yeah, !merch. But my dad was left-handed, and so every time we sat down to dinner, we had to sit in a certain way.
Right.
Because his eating hand is different from everybody
My mom and
else's
my dad had to
hand.
sit in a specific way in the booth, and myself and my brother had to sit in a specific way so we wouldn't clash elbows. I always had to be on the inside. All right, Buckshot's the track we're going to race. On average, it takes 1 minute and 3 seconds.
ASB Bunny, if you just email me and let me know which one you want, and then I'll just mail it out to you.
Record holder, Summary AJ with 52 seconds. We have not raced it, so let's get in there.
That's what he said. Get it? Let's get in there.
All right.
Now is the time to put exclamation point play. So Lizzie B, that's all you. Exclamation point play.
Watching all of them roll in. So we only have 15 so far. We had 18 last race. Let's get everyone back in here for a nice, fun race.
Lizzie B. Lizzie B. Get your marble in there.
Got 17. 52DZ says holds breath. Type in exclamation point play. There we go. Lizzie
Yeah,
B 313.
boy. Okay, it's in. Sweet.
All right, I'm going to give it 45 seconds from right meow for anyone else who's out there. We're at 19 marbles, which is wonderful to see. If anyone is out there and has not joined yet, one more will get us to 20.
20. I cannot wait to become a Twitch affiliate. I think it'll be so fun.
Like on your personal?
On my personal Twitch.
I was going to say, we've been a Twitch affiliate for years.
Because I want to actually do where I've been watching a lot of our, not YouTubers, Twitch streamers, right? And
Lizzie B says, yay, I love y'all.
They do, like, if you get like 30 or 40,000 of the channel points, they do custom little drawings for this. One of the artists has this tree of cats, and he just draws everyone as a cat, their character that they want as a cat.
That's cute.
And he's been doing it for years, so the tower is like 200 cats tall. It's so cute. But I want to try and do that.
All
I
right.
think it'd be cute.
This is definitely an original track. These things are swaying from side to side. Sherry Sue has been becomes the first one to drop to the very bottom, but Ginseng Joe gets up first. We'll watch from first place and see what's happening. Twitch.tv/
The Robin Grace?
The Robin Grace.
Yeah, I think that's my Twitch. 52DZ says this new VTuber thing is so funny to watch. I think the VTubers are so weird. Some of them are really cute, and then some of them I'm like, no.
Explain VTubers
cringy.
for the folks who don't know what they are.
So VTubers are when people get these animated characters, right? And you can map it to motion detection systems and stuff. So it moves and talks as you move and talk, but it's an animated character. Whoa.
Ginseng Joe, congratulations on the win. I didn't realize that it was like a dartboard. That's pretty awesome.
But it's really
I think you
interesting.
go up in rank the closer you are to the middle. So the Hailstorm's
Hailstorm
in first
is
place now.
super centered. Yeah. Oh, shit. Sorry,
Nefcore got
Nefcore.
boned on that one. Who's left? I'm What's Your Dinner is the only one that's left to take it from Hailstorm.
Nope.
Congratulations, Hailstorm. You are victorious for a second time tonight.
Oh my god. 5DZ says, I found an old lady that has a cat with a butcher's knife in her head. She was so funny. Let's see.
All right, I'm going to review some of these points for Hailstorm. They moved up to 13
Well,
points
I didn't even...
grand total. IMB Trainer goes up to 9. Ginseng Joe is at 7. I'm What's Your Dinner is in double digits with 10, along with Chunkster, who is at 10. They picked up 1 point right there. Tiny Dancer Nation is at 6. 52DZ is at 3. Lizzie B gets on the board with 1 point. ASB Bunny is up to 9. Everyone else stayed the same. I'm sitting at 8 points, and everyone else is sitting at 0, 1, or 2. So
Lizzie B
congratulations.
says, I feel so old. Sorry, my 41-year-old ass knows nothing. Adam really is not that much younger than you, so don't even worry about it.
35. 36. I'm 36.
36. Oh, shit, babe.
True.
Ginseng just says, when's the next stream? Maybe this Sunday?
Saturday?
No, Saturday we have, we're going to go tour Allegiant Stadium.
Oh, I didn't realize that was this Saturday, so
Yeah.
guess we're canceling the game stream, y'all.
It's at night. It's like
So
at
why
4
can't we
o'clock.
do the game
We
stream?
can still do the game stream.
Why did you just say that we weren't going to do it then?
My stream.
Oh, your stream?
The Robin Grace. When's the next stream?
Okay, you didn't say that. All you said out loud was, when's the next stream? So I answered the question.
And that's why I said Sunday. I answered it. Fuck you.
Answered it without giving me context. Such a pain in the ass. All right, y'all. This is the end.
You make it
My
sound
only
so
friend, the end.
creepy.
All right, I am going to mark it, and we are going to do this outro. Everyone can go about the rest of their Wednesday or Monday, depending on your times. Or,
This
sorry,
is perfect
Thursday,
timing, though.
depending on your time
8:30,
zone.
isn't that normal? That's
8.
the normal time? Oh, 8 is? Oh,
It's
we're
8.
really late. Whoops. Your
Yep.
story was long, man.
It was long, and you have answered things very, very completely tonight as well. So,
I have?
yes. As in, like, you've given long answers for certain things where I'm
Oh,
just like,
okay.
all right, okay, let's go. Let's move on. I do the same thing, though. So, it's a nightmare. We ramble on quite a
ASB
bit.
Bunny says, what games are we playing Saturday? We'll be playing more Resident Evil 8.
Village.
Village, yeah.
Resident Evil Village 8. All right, so here we go.
What if there were
Mark-
8 Resident Evil Village games? That'd fuck nuts.
That would be fuck nuts.
All right.
All right, so that is it for this episode of Pastatime. I want to thank everyone who watched us live, everyone who listened to the episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have a creepypasta that you have read that you would like us to read on the show, please email pastatime@scaryish.com and say, hey, you guys should read this one. Or if you have a short story that is horror themed that you have written that you would like read on the show, you can also send those. Just send them to pastatime@scaryish.com. You can let us know, hey, this is mine. You have permission to read it, and we will be more than happy to do so. It's always a good time when we get some ones from the community, and I shared mine this week, so I hope you folks enjoyed it. If you have a creepy story or something that actually happened to you in real life, a friend or a family member, you can reach out to storytime@scaryish.com. If you let us know something that's happened and let us know we can share it, we'll put those on the other episodes where we go over creepy, paranormal, supernatural, spiritual, true crime, aliens type stuff that is supposedly real. And we would love to hear from you for those ones too. So again, storytime@scaryish.com. If you want to reach out to us on our social medias, Facebook is facebook.com/Scaryish Podcast. Twitter is @ScarishPod. And Instagram is @Scaryish Podcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/Scaryish Podcast. Those are monthly donations at different tiers. So tiers start at $1. At $1, you get ad-free, and you kind of get benefits the further you go up. There's physical merch tiers as well. And if you're not into the whole monthly subscription thing, you can also go to ko-fi.com/Scaryish Podcast. Those are one-time donations, and all your donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup, kind of keep us going, kind of have us invest more into the show, more merch, more options,
more everything,
more. But thank you so much, everybody who's supported us for the past 3.5 years. Thank you so much for making the show what it is. We couldn't do it without our lovely community, and we really appreciate it.
Indeed we do. And that is everything we have for this episode of Pasta Time. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Happy Pride.